A couple of weeks ago, Barbara said that I should share a few words with you, that it was customary, and she kind of emphasized the operative word was few. But, you know, when I'm given a job, I really like to dig in. And the nice part about it is Steve is a real rich source of material, you might know. It's good for me, maybe not so good for you. But I decided, after looking at all the stuff that I had prepared, that I needed to cut it back a little bit. So I got rid of this preschool years, and I started for the last 39. So buckle up. I want you to know that I did time it, and you don't have to worry. It comes in at just over an hour, or what Pastor Callan would call 2 back-to-back services in a day's work. Unfortunately, he already split. You can see the kind of a day that he puts in. Oh, he is. He's coming back. Just remind him what I said when he comes back. Seriously, I'm not going to torture all you people with a long speech. I've been there. I understand that. We also don't want you to regret the fact that you actually showed up. We're particularly honored tonight to have Hyun Jung's parents and sister with us. Yeah. Her father, One Cup, was going down the hall, just like Pastor Callan. I think they got the word I was going to be using their names. And Hang Soo, who of course is in the restroom. But by now I'm sure you know who they are, and we're honored to have them here. Additionally, there were a lot of other people that went through a great deal of expense, their precious time at home, and they're here with us tonight. We've got Eric and Olivia from Cleveland. Grace currently from Atlanta, soon to be Africa, from what I just heard tonight. Tomorrow. David and Nikki Noyce and their family in from Kansas City. We've got Marva Harms from northern Minnesota. Woohoo! Stephanie Odegaard from India by way of Montauk. We've got Steve's friend Anthony from Southern California. And his other friend Scott and his daughter Ingrid from Northern California. Kristen Beaker Ryan and family from the Chicagoland area. And I don't know if I missed anybody here or not. Oh, Nick and Christina, where are they? There they are. I didn't see you hiding back there. They're in from Michigan, so nice to have you all here.
You get the Galbraiths from Eden Prairie. Pardon? You get the Galbraiths from Eden Prairie.
Yeah, the Galbraiths from Eden Prairie. A major sacrifice from them, you can see. As you know, this was not a short journey for Steve in trying to find a lifelong partner. And, you know, when it's right, and he knows it now. And we're delighted that he and Hyun Jung found one another. We love her and are delighted, and Barbara says she couldn't have even picked out anybody better for her. And believe me, she was doing a lot of looking. If you spend any time with the two of them, you can feel the chemistry and the love that exists between them, and you know that it's destined to last a lifetime. I hope you'll raise your glass right now and help me propose a toast to their health, happiness, prosperity, and a lifelong love. Yeah. Skål. We appreciate the sacrifices of all the long distance travelers, and thank you very much for being here.
You ready to go?
Oh, by the way, Barbara said make sure you wash your hands with cloths.
엄마, 아빠.
Where's Mama and Daddy?
Just mom and dad.
Mom and
엄마, 아빠. 갑시다. They're coming. It's funny because, you know, since I was adopted, I don't speak Korean very well. So I can say, oh, that's good, that's bad, hurry up, let's go. Where's the bathroom? My stomach hurts. So I had to actually write this down because even though I speak for a living, I actually get really nervous when I see eyes back at me because I usually just do this in front of a camera. So I had to write this down because I don't have a teleprompter. So my name is Michelle and I'm Hyun Jung's sister. And I'm so honored to be your sister, by the way. And many of you are getting to know our parents from South Korea who made the trek here. And that's really all possible because of Steve's family and Steve and Hyun Jung, so thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I hope this is a memory that they will be able to keep forever. As many of you are starting to get to know Hyun Jung, you might think that she is beautiful and sweet and artistic and maybe even quiet or shy, but I don't think so. I actually think that Hyun Jung is one of the bravest people I know. And when she came to the United States just a couple of years ago, she came with one suitcase. That was it, just one suitcase and a lot of hope for the future. So if you can imagine going to a country and just packing one suitcase and going across the world, that's Hyun Jung. So, yeah. So you're very brave and fearless. And I think I'm the only person in this room who had the privilege of experiencing the Steve and Hyun Jung introduction. So I remember,
So please tell us.
I remember when Hyun Jung said, okay, I want to date people. I said, okay. And she said, I want to date Steve, and I think he's going to come to our house. And I said, no, I don't want to meet Steve. I don't even know this guy. No offense. I said,
the same thing.
I said, I want to meet him when it's serious, you know. But she said, no, Steve wants, what I remember is she said, no, Steve wants to meet you. So I said, oh, okay, whatever, okay, fine. So he comes over, and he was so nice. We were sitting at the kitchen table, and I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but this is the way I remember it. You were kind of like this. Like you were like, I'm so nervous. And you said, I'm so excited to meet your sister. I think she's so beautiful and so nice, and I'm really excited about taking her on a date. And so I was like, I am cynical. I mean, this is what I do for a living. I judge people. And fake news, yeah. But I was totally sucked in right away. Because Steve was so genuine and authentic and almost vulnerable at the table. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this guy for real? Because he had a smile from like literally from ear to ear. And I just thought it was really sweet. And by date number 2, Hyun Jung was like in love with Steve. So it was very, and maybe by number 1 too, I don't know. But by number 2, I knew for sure that she was in love with him. It happened, to me it happened very quickly, but at the same time very naturally. So it didn't seem quick. You know, it seemed like if they were just meant to be. So I just wanted to say, Steve, I'm very grateful to you. And I know our parents are too, but I have so much love and admiration and respect for you because I see the way you treat my sister. And my parents were very impressed with you. So when they came to Seattle just recently, have you been to Steve's office in Seattle? So,
Never invited us.
Well, when they came through, Hyun Jung told me that they were so impressed with Steve because everyone seemed to like him and respect him, and they were so happy at the workplace. And so my father said, I don't have to worry about Hyun Jung anymore. So I think that's, you know, that's really beautiful. Yeah. She never cries, so I'm glad I got her. So we are really grateful to you, first of all, and to your whole family, to Barbara and to Rick. Thank you so much for taking us all in. and accepting us. And we just love you. We love you very much. So I'm hoping for you, if I could give you any advice, it's that marriage is tough. I mean, it's wonderful, but it's tough. So I said this on your video, but I'm hoping that you will go to bed angry at each other, but I'm hoping that you never leave the house and that you always know that you're committed to one another. And then I'm also, as a new mom of a 7-month-old, I'm hoping that you have many sleepless nights very soon. My son will have a playmate very soon. Yeah. So if I can give you a cheers, I love you guys, much respect and love. Best of luck. So cheers. Thank you. No, thank you. School.
Don't let yourself go. Now my brother's gonna make me cry.
Oh, I don't think the mother of the groom says anything.
No, don't get started.
Should we vote? Does Barb get to say something? No. Have a seat.
You first.
Me first. Let's hear it for Barbara Ellis, everybody. You never close your eyes. All right. So, good evening. Everyone knows I'm Chris. I'm Steve's big brother. And I've had several phone calls and messages trying to get a hold of this speech before I gave it tonight. And it's kept in an encrypted file. So here we go. It's an honor for me to be here tonight to celebrate this awesome day, Steve, as your best man, and to celebrate your marriage to Hyun. And I want to begin by first of all giving a big thank you to our parents, to Barb and Rick. Thank you for hosting and being awesome parents to us. And Hang Soon and Wangap, welcome to our family and welcome to Minnesota. And Michelle, who we just have realized have Madison, Wisconsin connections. We just figured this out. So, and welcome to our family, Michelle. No, don't go Badgers.
No religion.
Jerry Noyce is in here. I'm not anything Badgers. You hear me? Yeah, he's watching me. He's over here.
Careful.
And I know, and Nick and Christina, my bonus brother and sister-in-law are here, and I know we're all thinking about my dad, our dad Bruce, who we know is here tonight in spirit as well. I'm grateful every day of my life, but I'm especially grateful that I get to stand here tonight with you, brother, to honor you and your new wife. 43 years we've waited for this. 43 years. Usually we don't have this much, we don't get this much garbage. So we've got 43 years to go through. But I still remember meeting this kid. 43 years ago, I met Steve for the first time, and I immediately knew that he was smarter than the average kid. Because his entrance into our house was preceded by a brand new big wheel. Yes. And I decided that day I was going to give you a chance.
That later became my business.
Steve was a goofy kid. Am I right? Can I hear an amen? Steve, you've always marched to the beat of a different drummer. Am I right? Which is a character trait that I have both admired and has driven me crazy, as you know, many times in my life. Often I felt both emotions at the same time. So I remember, I'm going to just share just a couple examples. One, I remember shopping with you at the Science Museum of Minnesota. And we were kids, and he slid a piece of paper across the counter to the clerk with a list of chemicals. Yeah, you didn't think I was going to tell this one. The statute of limitations just expired on this one. List of chemicals you were looking to purchase, and the clerk glanced down at the paper, and he looked back up at you, and he said, "Son, there is no way that I am selling you the ingredients to make gunpowder today." So standing there. So Steve and I learned a big lesson if we're going to pull off anything to shop at several different venues for our ingredients. I remember thinking, man, that takes guts. Like, our mom is standing right out there. And then immediately on that thought, I was like, what in the heck is he going to use gunpowder for? The statute of limitations, as I said, has just run out on that story. So you can ask him about it later, because I still don't know what he was going to use it for. Or the time when my mother and stepfather called us into the living room in a fit of apoplexy. It was something big had gone down. They were apoplectic. That's the word I'm looking for. And they asked us in that calm voice that you knew was about to, something that was going to hurt was following. Who carved their name into our mantle of our fireplace? And I bent down and I squinted at it, and because I was like, what? And there's the word Steve. With a hashtag on it, before hashtags were even cool, and a backward N, Steve N. And I was like, thank you, sweet Jesus. Not only is my brother a criminal, but he signs his own name.
It's still there, if you want to come over.
And we double checked it, it's still there. So, lesson number 2, if you're going to contemplate a life of vandalism, do not sign your own name. Steve's musical and technological abilities have brought him all over the world. To the heights and depths of hard work, his accomplishments, your failures. You have always displayed a constant ability to get back up and keep trying. You are still, don't get me wrong, a very goofy kid. But I love and admire what you have accomplished in your business, in your music, and now in your love of your life. I brag about you quite often. And at least one of your songs is on my kids' rotation on things that they learned to sing as young children. So that's pretty cool.
That's Scott too, by the way.
And yes, and Mr. Gagner back there. Hello, hello. That's one of our favorites. I'm happy to have Steve as my little brother, and now today to welcome Hyun as my sister-in-law. When Steve met you, Hyun, he told my mom first, and then my wife second, and finally he told me he had found the one. And when I heard him talk about you, and then when I met you myself, I could see not only why Steve is in love with you, but also why you are indeed the one that Steve is meant to share his life with. Steve has always had a special place in his heart and in his life for my daughters. And so I join my prayers with Michelle's and all of ours in this room that you and Hyun are blessed with children of your own. I'm also thrilled, Steve, that you were convinced, because you knew that if you waited, you would find the right person. And I know we talked about that several times. Every time you walked away from my kids, happy to give them back, but wondering when you would find the one who would bring your children into this world. We talked about that a lot. So I can tell you all that Hyun makes Steve a better man, and she also knows how to navigate a relationship with my mother. And those are 2 of the hardest jobs on this planet. So I invite you all to please join me in raising a glass. May God bless you both with a holy marriage, healthy lives, and spirits of abundance and gratitude. May your love be the stuff about which poets and authors dream. Cheers. Yeah, kiss.
Yeah, kiss.
We need a timer, somebody with a timer.
First of all, I'd like my sister Jane to come up so we can show you some of our old parquet steps.
Notice her
Did
face.
you know that my sister and I were in the original parquets? Actually, everything that you've said has kind of come around to me, but Hyun, from the moment you came into our home, and you looked at me, and I've never had a daughter. I've had a beautiful daughter-in-law, but I've never had my own daughters. Now I have you and Carrie, and you called me Mom. And I guess that's a real endearing term that you use in your country when you love someone like your own mom. And it just, immediately, my heart just opened up to you. And Steve, on the phone, when he called and he said I'd met her, and I was like, what? Because I've gone through 20 plus years of thinking that I met her, but not like this. This was it. I could tell. He said, Mom, you're gonna love her, you're gonna love her. And she's done something, and you know that, don't you? He's a different man. He already is a different man. He is the happiest I've ever seen. And I think as parents, the biggest wish you have is for your children to be happy in life and to grow up and find a relationship that fulfills you. Like my mom and dad. My dad is here this evening, almost 100 years old. I've asked the 5 siblings, all of them, if they ever heard Mom and Dad ever say anything really mean to each other or yell at each other or anything. And I thought maybe one of them would say yes. No. They were the greatest parents 5 children could ever have. And the values and the love that they have passed on to the 5 of us is what I pray. I can feel it with my sons, and I see it with my nieces and nephews. It just keeps going forward. And it's all because of this man and his work ethics. I could never go out, I could never go cheering or go to a game until I had picked my bushel basket of crabgrass. Yep. Dad, crabgrass? We had to pick crabgrass before we could go on a date because they didn't have poisons for the grass, so I had to go out and pick the. But they just, and he was the greatest dentist in town, and he would meet our dates at the door in his undershirt and his shorts. And they'd say, hi, Dr. Vicker, do you remember stuff? Anyway, I don't know, I'm rambling on as usual. I want to just salute my dad. He's the reason we're here tonight. I miss my mom, so I wish she was here. And I want to say, I can't wait to see the kind of life you two are going to have. You've already started a beautiful, beautiful life together. God bless you both on your travels. We love you all. We love you.
There's a cavalcade
Just to give you an idea of the itinerary here, anyone who wants to roast, you're welcome to. I was actually spared, I think. There were a lot of other stories that could have come out. So. I knew on the, yeah, Dave's here. Little feedback there. I knew on the first date that Hyun was the one. I instantly, when I put my arm around her, and it's the same way I feel when I hug her. I never felt calmer than I feel. And I don't know if it's something that science will ever be able to explain. You know, why this is the way it is. Is it astrology? I don't know, but it's real. It's as real as me standing here. And I'm just so happy, Hyun, that when I asked you on our first date if you'd be my girl, because I knew that if I didn't move quickly, I would lose this opportunity. And I later learned there were many other, guys lining up for her suitors. And she said yes. So thank you so much. And to all of you, thank you so much for coming out here and taking this time, money, to come and visit us and be with us for this moment. I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. And I'm so happy you are all the closest people to all of us here. So we're about to dance. So, we're gonna dance for about 20, 25 minutes, and then we're gonna cut a cake, and then we're gonna dance again. Thank you all so much for being here with us. Yeah, bar's still open. Last call though, get up there right now. Thank you all for coming and sharing with us.